Man, that was another good episode. But does anyone actually care? That's right, episode 4 of Star Wars Skeleton Crew just released a couple days ago. And I gotta say, the show does look amazing. The sets, the graphics, costumes, everything does look really good. So good on you guys who are working on Skeleton Crew for upping the quality that we haven't seen in a Star Wars product in at least 2 shows. Mandalorian Season 3, forgot about Boba Fett, and The Acolyte. This show is bringing the quality back up, at least to the standards that Kathleen Kennedy promised way back in the day with movie quality TV shows. And while there are little bits of kids TV show quirkiness that I kind of giggled at, and I thought, like, man, a kid would think that's pretty cool, but I think that's kind of funny and lame. I think this was a very good representation of what a kid would think of war, of a war zone, of 2 different factions who cannot see eye to eye and just have to be violent about it. And to a kid, or even anyone with a sensibility, war does not make logical sense. I mean, it really doesn't. Like, having to, to dominate and steal from and all this other things, it doesn't make any moral sense, any logical sense. Defending yourself does. And so this whole story of war, violence, conflict between 2 factions is kind of simplified to, they stole our cows. They stole our horses, they stole our cows, that kind of thing. And so by explaining that with Neil, the daughter of the leader of that one faction, basically said that if you return us our horses, we will be fine. I don't think that's what's really going to happen, but it may just be that this latest skirmish started from the stealing of the horses. And this was Neil's episode. This was his coming out of his shell. I do believe we have 8 episodes of this show, so we are at the halfway point now. And Neil has been kind of a passive dude. He's just been riding along with whatever Wim does and the whole team does, and not really doing too much. But in this one, he really comes full forward, and a whole arc of him being, timid, nervous, scared, that kind of thing. And him finding the courage to break out of his shell to protect his friends. So that whole arc, he found the courage, and he used the courage that he found with this faction, with this girl. He used that, and he used it to basically save his friends in that moment of need. So good job, Neil. You're a badass. It did feel like an episode of the week, kind of like with the Star Trek or another show where they land on a planet and they have just a quick episode with this faction and, a whirlwind romance per se. I wouldn't say it's a romance. It's more so she like gave him a kiss on the cheek to give him that push, that push. And that character, she just happened to do like gymnastics and sliding and overdo a lot of things. So that's where I was like, this does feel like a kid's show at this point. Otherwise, it looked really good, and it didn't feel like a kid's show in my opinion. But her doing these like slides down the thing and jumping over stuff and like parkouring, hey, kids will think this is cool. So yeah, but her character, she kind of was moving on from the war pretty quickly, and she was kind of surprised by Neil. I think a little too fast, but we're at a kids TV show pace, which again, I wish we had like 22 episodes of maybe a 25-minute show or a 30-minute show versus 8 episodes, which is like nothing. Fern kind of goes through a character turn as well, where she finally breaks this tough exterior that she's always had, and she finally admits that she has no idea what she's doing. She's pretending the whole time. Her bravado is all pretend as well, and that she just really just breaks down. And Wim, I don't know why she said that Wim would have been a better captain. Wim is right when he says that she has gotten them this far and that she's okay. But Wim is not going to be a good captain. That dude would have driven you right into a black hole by now just because he wanted to see what was on the other side. I'm not the biggest fan of Wim. That is kind of funny that that's his name, and then he is just going out and about and around on a whim. So maybe that's why they named him that. It's kind of funny. But that was nice to see Fern really come to terms with what she's been doing, and she's like, we're just kids. We're on this. Where are we? I want to go home. And I think it was just her breaking point, really. But that moment of clarity from that cloudiness, she was able to put together that SM-33 was pre-programmed to forget at Aden. Which, I mean, if you were paying attention, you noticed that he kept saying the same line every single time. And you also saw, like you saw her earlier too, force the robot to forget. The show really does a great job of making sense. It sets up everything that you will need for the next episodes in the future. So that's why everything's good. Everything's fine. It makes like logical sense, kind of. For him to then lose it on her, that was pretty crazy. And I'm not the biggest fan of the point of view chest cam that they put on SM-33. I think they did that to try to really show him as a scary individual. But I mean, the design already is scary, so I don't know why they have to do that chest cam. You know, the one from Get Him to the Greek. Yeah, that one. I'm not the biggest fan of that camera view, really, and having it in first person and stuff, I don't know. It doesn't feel Star Wars-y to me. I know you're changing Star Wars, but we haven't had that in the show before, and it just felt unnecessary. It felt too close to something else. That's funny, because the whole show is close to something else. But yeah, SM-33 end up turning on the kids, basically getting ready to kill them, and that was based off of an order from his old captain. His very old captain. I'm curious which of the skeletons in the ship was the old captain. But that's when Neil was able to find some courage and draw SM-33 over to him, and you know, he's about to get turned into blue goo. Luckily, Jod was able to jump in and turn off the off switch. So good for him. Jod was they had to make him less powerful right there, make him incapable of doing something just for Neil to set himself up to find the courage. But Jod was a really good one this episode. He used his brain, he used his captain abilities, and he had already stolen the credits, so why not pay them off, get the horses back, and then solve the whole thing? So again, makes total sense that he would do all this stuff. I think Jude Law is doing a great job with this character. I really do like the character. He is sympathetic, but he is a scoundrel at the same time. He's a Jack Sparrow. He is a Jack Sparrow. He's not goofy like Jack Sparrow. But yeah, man, I'm digging his character. I'm digging this universe, this world. I think all the acting is awesome. I have no problems with the actors whatsoever. Story-wise, they got taken to a clone planet. So it looks like that these planets were all made around the same time, and maybe it's like the Fallout Shelter situation where they give each planet something else to do and then see how society goes about it. So maybe this planet was, you know, freedom of thought, and they ended up turning on each other, and now there's a civil war. The other part that's weird though is that each faction is kind of using old stormtrooper gear. So if you looked, you could have seen that their helmets, goggles, and stuff like that was very reminiscent of an old stormtrooper helmet or old Imperial stuff. So it's either that or the Empire came to this planet and disrupted everything. And, you know, I guess all of them could have been secret. That's why the coordinates are only on the tower of the planet. So the Empire maybe just came upon this planet by accident, and then they, you know, attacked and everything and stole all the wealth, stole everything, and just caused a whole society to break down. But then if they went to the tower, they would have found the coordinates to all the other places, which makes me really curious when SM-33 and his crew originally came to Atkin, whatever it's called, whenever they came there. So then they destroyed the coordinates. He destroyed the coordinates and he killed the entire crew. So there's something else at play here with all of these different planets, with all these, you know, it's quite possible that, like I said, each planet is different, or is each planet exactly the same? It's just a matter of being lucky if someone ran into your planet or not. So there is a deeper mystery going on. And again, I think it has to do with the administration, with the supervisor, with AT-ATN. And are there actual treasures? Is it all just a lie? You know, we see the Old Republic credits. So is that the treasure, or is there more than that? I don't know. But man, let's talk about how no one is watching. I do believe Skeleton Crew failed to break into the top 10 most watched TV shows. I do believe that this is damage to the Star Wars brand name itself. I think the company has gone too long and has not given quality product in so long that people may have checked out. It's either that or people got the word that this is just a kid's show and so they're not going to watch. Which I would say, so far so good, man. If you are interested or curious, give it a watch. Give it a watch for yourself. I think it's actually a good show. Is it worth a Disney Plus subscription? No. Nope. There's some good movies on here for Christmas time, for the holidays. Unless you are watching Disney stuff all the time, I don't really see a need for Disney Plus subscription, and I may actually stop my subscription after this show. Because we don't really have anything coming out after this. I don't think so. We don't have anything until March. I can re-sign up. I'm gonna save my money. March is Daredevil, by the way. But man, what kind of damage has Disney and Lucasfilm done to the Star Wars brand that a show like this, that is exciting in some parts and looks great, has a good cast, it's not doing well. It's not doing numbers. It's not doing impressions. So it's just really sad to see where we're at, but I don't blame you. If you're not watching the show, I don't blame you. I was skeptical coming in too, and I still am skeptical. We got 4 more episodes left. But that's what happens when you dick around with the fan base for so long and you mess with the quality of that people are expecting for so long. You know, starting from Rise of Skywalker, you had a little bit of a win with Mandalorian Season 1 and 2 and Andor. Some people didn't like Andor. I love Andor. I still need to do a video on it. But man, you can only mess with people for so long, you know? And sooner or later, they're just not going to show up for you. They're not going to show up. So I'm hoping that Star Wars can turn around. I'm hoping for the best. And, you know, I really do love the property. I really do love the universe. So I wish the best for everyone who's working on it. And just put yourself in the shoes of the fans. Really look at how you're working on things and be like, is this quality? That's it. That's it. Like I said, the kids are great. I didn't even talk about KB. KB's a murderer, apparently. She's really good at killing things. Watch out for her. I forgot about you, KB. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's basically it. Let me know your thoughts on Skeleton Crew and Star Wars in general. If you like what I do here, feel free to subscribe. Also, feel free to smash the like button. Really does help out the channel get pushed out to new people. Thank you so much for watching. Have a Merry Christmas, and we'll see you next time.